Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
All right, guys. So welcome back, you guys. This is your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moni.
How you doing?
I'm feeling pretty good on this Easter Sunday.
I know you're all churched up today, friend. Oh my God. You got a brooch.
I do have a brooch.
Vest.
I do
some
have
pearls.
a vest. I know I don't usually come this hard on the podcast. It's usually a little bit more relaxed, but I felt like
It was
really
time.
bringing it. And then I'm going to a family dinner after this.
Absolutely. You can't shame your family by showing up looking basic, friend. That would be terrible. So, yeah, you look cute.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited
I'm
to be here.
You
This
do
is
too.
great. Thank you. So
You always bring the sunshine.
I've got a little two-piece situation happening. I got the ball cap on. It's like I'm trying to be comfortable, but also I wanted the Easter colors. So we've got the pinks and the yellows, and I got the purple nails. I'm trying, friend. This is all I can do.
Christazounestis.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but yes.
It's Greek.
For
Christ is risen.
oh, say it again.
Christazounestis.
Zunestes.
Unestis, I think.
Unestis.
I think Christazounestis. I don't know.
Zunestes.
I'm just going off of my, my big fat Greek wedding.
Is that what they said it on?
I think that's where I got it from.
Okay, great movie. By the
It
way,
was.
that was a vibe. That was a whole vibe. That's old.
It
but It was
was.
good.
It was.
He
We
don't
should've-
eat no meat.
You don't have. It's fine. I make lamb.
Yes, it's like ooh.
Man,
That's-
I wanted to make lamb, but we
Lamb
talked
is
on the
delicious.
Patreon about how I decided to go the easy route.
So what does that mean?
Deviled eggs.
Let's go. Deviled eggs are delicious.
Yeah,
on
they
Easter
are.
Sunday.
And very
Yeah,
easy.
Very easy. I like it.
It was easy. 'cause,
Speaking
yeah.
of easy, I did some easy mac.
Yeah, it wasn't easy,
It wasn't
Mac.
easy. I actually graded.
You did the hard
Hold
mac?
up, 1, 2, 3. I made 2 things of it, so I ended up hand grading. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds of cheese, friends.
So why do you not buy the pre-shredded cheese, Moni?
Actually, I do, and I feel shameful every time I do because I know there's cellulose in it, which is technically like ground up wood. But it keeps the like packaged cheese from sticking together, which also makes it to where like the melting, it doesn't melt as well. So when you hand grate the cheese, it's like you get more of that sticky pull and that velvety texture that
Teach the
everybody's looking
children.
for that macaroni and cheese. So if you're gonna be in charge of making the macaroni and cheese, it's important to use the good butter, use the good cheese, because it's gonna make a difference.
It shows. And it's
And
a
it's the
holiday.
love. It's the
I took
holiday.
my daughter shopping because she's in charge of the mac and cheese. And she was buying, because there was one little container of the good whipped cream left, but there was like a couple of the cheaper one, and she was going for cheaper. I'm like, girl, it's a holiday. There's a reason why there's only one of this one left, because those who know, they know. So like, yeah, get those ingredients, get ready to
Get that arm.
She asked me for a Band-Aid. She's like, I always cut my finger. I'm like, then stop cutting your finger.
Stop.
Like, if you know, then whatever. So,
Gotta
yeah,
learn.
but you got to, or get the
The
Pampered
rotary
Chef.
one. Get that rotary
Yeah,
blade.
where
That's
you
what I
can
need.
just, yeah.
to have it,
And Mother's
but-
Day's coming up, so drop some hints.
Thank you.
It's like, hey, would you like my labor to be a little easier for you?
Thank you. Get it done quicker. Or
Since
something
y'all
like
always
that.
hungry.
Thank you. Always hungry, and I'm sick of it. Okay, sick and tired of it.
Love you guys.
But okay, all right. So you guys, it's Easter Sunday. We're here recording, and this Sunday we have a fun episode. We have in the past reviewed Black Mirror, friends. It has been some of my favorite episodes looking back because Joan is awful.
I loved
My
recording that episode.
God.
That was so fun. And if you should
So bad.
subscribe to Patreon so you can go to Moni watching Joan is Awful in real time.
awful.
That's one of my favorite things that ever happened.
Oh my God, it was so good. And I love this, it's such a vibe. It's such a well done show. So I'm really excited this week to jump into season 7. You had mentioned there was one episode in particular. So season 7 has 7 episodes. I wasn't able to watch all 7, but the main episode that you wanted me to watch was the 7th one. And it is the USS Callister. It's actually a sequel from a season 4 episode. So you guys, I want to give you a little bit of a general understanding if you're not familiar with the Black Mirror series and also this episode. So Black Mirror is a series of standalone dramas, sharp, suspenseful, satirical tales that explore techno-paranoia. Black Mirror is a contemporary reworking of the classic Twilight Zone with stories that tap into the collective unease about modern about the modern world, particularly regarding both intended and unintended consequences of new technologies and the effect that they have on society and individuals. With its first of new episodes in 2 years, Black Mirror Season 7 consists of 6 installments, including a follow-up of the award-winning USS Callister episode from 2017.
Wait, take that back. You made the mistake I always make.
Did I say Callister?
You sure did.
Did I? Oh my God. Okay, going back. Okay, with its first episode in 2 years, Black Mirror Season 7 consists of 6 installments, including the follow-up of the award-winning USS Callister episode from 2017. Now connected on the online world, the USS Callister crew finds the other players aren't so friendly. With Daly dead, the follow-up episode Into Infinity finds Nanette taking over as the captain as the new crew faces a new threat, death. There is no out of the game for them.
Dun, dun,
Wow.
dun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit gets real, it sounds like.
It does.
Okay, so-
And I would like to apologize for last week's Will Spin where I called this episode the USS Callister.
Did you?
It's just because I'm a hungry B word and I like McAllisters. They got
Okay.
those potatoes and that lemonade.
Listen.
But
Okay.
but it is hard to say the USS Callister, like going from like that double S straight into a hard C, whatever.
Okay. English is weird.
It is.
But we're here and we're going to talk about it, friends. So before we do, we should dedicate this episode. So you guys, hands over your hearts. All right, you guys, as always, we want to start this episode off dedicating this to our patrons, especially on this Easter Sunday. You guys mean everything to us. We truly appreciate your continued support. If you're not supporting the show via Patreon, what are you waiting for, you guys? Follow us on www.patreon @thefab podcast for all of the bonus content that we have there for you guys. Also, a special dedication to my mom because, I was being told that my kids at 10 and 12 are too old for Easter baskets. And, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm an old mom, but I still want to do stuff like that for my kids. So I was like, I know they're getting older, but what's wrong with getting candy on Easter? I remember feeling like I still want candy just because I'm 10, I'm 11, I'm 12. I don't want no candy. So my mom had a suggestion that I should get some cleaning baskets and fill them with cleaning supplies and give them as Easter baskets. So I did do that, but I also incorporated a little Easter grass and some candies in there too. And it was hilarious because my son wasn't feeling it. My daughter thought it was hilarious. And everybody got what they want mostly. So shout out to you,
and
Mom.
he ended up asking you to bring it to
He
him.
sure did. I still have to show up at Easter dinner. He's like, hey, I know you're recording right now, but when you're done with that, can you bring my Easter basket? So, boom. So thank you, Mom. Appreciate that. What about you, friend?
A queen. Yes. Yes, and I would like my dedication 2 parts this week. First one, going out to IKEA for that $2 breakfast. That was hitting this weekend. So just for y'all who don't know, on the weekends, IKEA from 10 to 11, you can go in there and get a $2 little breakfast, get you some eggs, bacon, and potatoes.
Damn.
And coffee. The coffee's free.
Okay.
And so I took myself and my kids, 3 of us, we ate for $23.
Where you at? At?
And that was pretty good. So in these uncertain economic times, thank you, IKEA.
That's what's up.
Second dedication is going out to Ryan Coogler's Sinners. That's right. Still talking about it. Sorry, Moni. You don't even keep hearing about it till you watch it, and then you'll get it. So good. Y'all need to go see that movie. And two Michael B. Jordans. You got to wait till the whole movie to get a shirt off, but it happens. And it's pretty great.
It's an Easter treat.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Some sinners on Easter.
Damn.
That's what we all need. So I'm going to leave it there because dedication over.
All right.
I don't want to spoil anything. But another fun thing, because we were talking about, Twilight Zone, how this, Black Mirror is kind of a reflection of that. Ryan Coogler is also going to be doing a reboot of the X-Files.
Is he really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Did you watch the X-Files originally? I don't think I did.
Yes.
I remember
I
the
think we've
music.
established that I was maybe slightly nerdier than you in high school. So Friday
Sure.
nights, what are you talking about? Watching
weren't at
X-Files
the
with no lights
games?
on, without a maze on. I hope the Smoky Man's in this one. Yes.
What is that?
That was from I think a bare naked lady song. But yeah, it was. No, I didn't really enjoy going to the games.
I mean, I didn't either. Because not for the games, duh.
Sure. But for the game. No, Friday nights, me, X-Files, Pizza Hut, locked in.
Wow. Wow. Well, I will say that, I feel like this was the nerdiest episode of so I only got to watch this episode because you were like, if you can't watch the whole thing, at least watch this episode. This episode was a 90-minute episode. So it was a full situation. Watched it last night and it was pretty, I enjoyed it. But when I was looking at the titles for each one and the themes, I was like, oh, wow. My friend picked the nerdiest one. Okay. But also, I remember the initial episode from 2017 being really good, though. I remember liking it, but being grateful for the recap of the original USS Callister.
It's been a while.
I was like, I remember he was weird and creepy.
You talking about Robert Daly?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if you want to give a little something about, we don't have to get into the background of Black Mirror, but I think it might be helpful to recap the previous episode before we jump into if you feel like you're up for it.
Oh, I guess so. Well, first I want to do a shout out to Charlie Brooker.
Okay,
who's the showrunner for Black Mirror. He writes a lot of the episodes and stuff. I actually watched an interview with him talking about this episode.
Really?
Oh, sure did. I went heavy because I really enjoyed it. But okay, the last one, this is actually the episode that got me into Black Mirror.
Okay.
Because it had been on, like I said, 4 seasons. I had been having Netflix. I never really tapped into it. I was like, it's how you feel when people keep talking about how good Sinners is. And it's like, how good can it be? God. And then you end up watching it and it's like, okay, it's that good.
It's actually pretty
good. When I saw that there was going to be sort of a spoof on Star Trek, I'm like, oh, I'm in. Yeah, that's all it took. Obviously. I'm like, I see that as I was like, and Michaela Cole was in it. I was like, say less, I'm there.
Okay.
So I watched that episode. So this was when our main character is Nanette, and she's starting at this gaming company, Infinity, which is, if you're familiar with Black Mirror universe, they have this technology where you can basically put this little nub on your temple and it can take you into another world, basically. It takes your consciousness and dumps you into this virtual world. Think kind of like a VR headset, just way more immersive. So she's starting there and she's immediately just sort of starstruck by their main coder, she has Robert Daly. And then he ends up kind of fixating on her because he's sort of
a nerd.
And he's
not even a nerd.
He's just, because everybody at the company's nerds, but he's just not really given the respect of the company because the owner, really was supposed to be his partner, but Wagner, whatever that guy is.
With this pause, this reminded me of what Elon Musk must be to the tech industry in terms of just being a parasite on the people who actually do the tech and stuff.
What's his name start with? Warner? Is it not Warner? It started with a W.
I don't remember his name.
He was the money guy, basically.
That's all, exactly.
I'm gonna call him W. He's kind of like Wayland Yutani, basically, in the Alien universe. I should get his name right.
Wayland Yutani. Nobody knows who that is.
Whatever. W. He's basically just, like I said, the Elon Musk kind of character. He was the money guy who financed it and stuff like that. And so he always just he's constantly putting him down, and then it just makes for a toxic corporate culture. So come to find out, Robert Daly, this coder, he's been making genetic clones of his coworkers to toy with in his own version of Infinity, where he gets to be the captain and all this other stuff. So when Nanette finds herself in because he, fixates on her, when she finds herself in this universe, she's like, we ain't doing this. So she ends up figuring out that there's a patch that's updating Infinity, and she's like, I'm gonna use this to get everybody that he's cloned out of here because he's torturing us. He's just a bad guy or whatever. So she's able to do that. Bada bing, and he ends up dying because he's stuck in the game and he's not able, he basically ends up kind of starving to death or whatever. And so that's where we leave off,
right?
Whereas we're coming into the US Callister.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And because Nanette, this is what I really love that they did. So Nanette, when they go through the patch into the upgrade, they go from sort of the Star Trek original series aesthetic and they go into the new, I forget the name of the guy who kind of rebooted the Star Trek universe, who did Into the Universe. Let me look up that director real quick because I should know.
Well, everyone's judging you.
I know. That's okay. I'm taking this part out. into Star Trek and J.J. Abrams. The J.J. Abrams version of Star Trek. So the entire aesthetic gets slicker, lens flares, everything, new uniforms. And then it leaves off on an optimistic note because she's like, okay, fine, we're in the real game now. Let's go. And that's where we pick up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because it's interesting, they even call it, they use the same font too that Star Trek Into Darkness used. And when they did Into Infinity, same font. Fun.
Didn't notice. But okay, yeah. So I would say that, you know, I felt like it was a really good episode. Like it was multi-layered, which I really liked. And I liked how, you know, the twists in the episode were kind of, I mean, like it was unexpected without being like
unrealistic.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, because
Like,
are we spoiling? Are we going to let the children know we're spoiling?
Guys, should we spoil?
I feel like we should spoil.
Okay, so spoiler.
They've had
alert.
time. It's been out for what?
I mean, there's 7 episodes, so it ain't like it's new. I don't know. I have no idea.
I feel like by the time this comes out, it's cool. I'm gonna put a spoiler alert
yeah,
up.
well,
We're
fast
spoiling.
forward past this if you don't really want to hear.
Yeah.
I guess, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
But I agree with you. It's hard to strike that balance of something being shocking and still coherent.
right. So like it all still made sense and it was extremely engaging overall. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not necessarily somebody, because I mean I'm not like a giant Star Trek fan and stuff like that. So like the allure to me isn't necessarily like its proximity to Star Trek. Like the actual story I feel like holds up, regardless of the whole Star Trek thing. And it gives us, you know, what I love about Black Mirror in general though is the sort of, you know, the conversations that we're having around technology and what it means as those technologies advance and they integrate into our lives. So I think it's interesting to have a premise where, you know, you have this person with all this money investing into this tech company. You know, you're not the person who actually created this tech, but you want to roll it out on a grand scale. You don't know what it takes to actually do that.
He didn't even know how to get in the game.
I mean, like that was really
That was
wild.
hilarious to
That
me,
was
but
really
so
wild.
accurate. He was like calling. He's like, "Hey, Kabir, I'll give you extra $5,000 a month if you tell me how to get in this game."
But also too, just, and I mean, okay, we're gonna back up and kind of go over like what's happening in the second part of this episode too, but then just also, when you have the money, but you don't own that technology or really understand it, the disconnect between like what it means to actually create the tech and roll it out, and the creative sort of maybe attachment you have to it when you're making it. You know what I'm saying? Like how you feel just as an artist in general, because I would venture to say that like there's some artistry involved, like when you're creating programs and gaming and stuff like that, because it lends itself to lots of creativity on top of the technical aspects. So, you know, it kind of goes back to that age-old question of like when you're actually creating something, when you're trying to make it marketable versus when you're creating it out of love, and like, what does that look like when you're rolling it out to scale? You know what I mean? Like, when does it lose its creative license? When do you sort of,
When it becomes
when
a
it's
soulless,
the money thing, like when it's a money machine, and so you see this push for this game, this infinity game, to keep, you know, like growing and pushing it out and rolling out, make more worlds, and you know, if we can do this, like, oh, these subscriptions, you know, because that's what the game ends up being, right? Like it ends up being this space
and
where
those credits,
because
that's what they ended up like. They're like, we can't survive. You can't play anymore. It's like when you're at Chuck E. Cheese and run out of tokens.
Yeah, you're out.
It's like you can't really do nothing no more.
Roblox. What's the other game? The Roblox game and Fortnite. Like, you know, the kids got to get in there to get the skins. They got to get in there to do all that stuff.
Okay, I looked up the dude. So the money dude's name in this whole thing, his name's Walton.
Okay, Walton.
Yeah, I knew it was a W.
Okay,
it's always a W because it's always kind of like Walmart, Wallen Utani. Like, yeah, like it's always a lot of W's.
Well, there you have it.
But yeah, he ends up being a very complex character because there's the digital version of him that's trapped in the game, and then there's the real life version of him.
Okay, well, I feel like, do you mind doing another breakdown of just kind of like, let's go
So
through and
a
then
lot happens.
Do the quick
Forgive
one.
me if I miss a beat. So we pick up, what is it, a couple months after our story, the original like 4th season story drops off. So Nanette's showing up to work. She's kind of still a little, you know, she's not really
Well, it's traumatic. Like, you're trapped
Well,
in
no,
this
I'm talking about
game.
her personality. I'm talking about real life Nanette.
Oh, okay.
Real life Nanette,
Okay.
she's still, she's still reeling because she's like, dang, that's crazy. Like, this dude died after I broke into his apartment. Like, she's trying to log into work and her thing's not working, and she's just, whatever. So, but then there's the digital version of Nanette, who's the captain. She's super capable. She's doing these raids because they have to keep robbing people for their credits so they can keep existing in the game because, like you said in the breakdown, if they die in the game, they die for real. Everybody else just gets to respawn. So Nanette, she finally eavesdrops on a conversation that Walton and a New York Times reporter are having, where the New York Times reporter, he's kind of figured out, like, you got some illegal digital clones in this game. That's why they don't have any gamer tags and stuff like that. And Walton's always like, you shut your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here. And so, and then Nanette comes to him. She's like, listen, I can solve your little tagger problem. I know what's going on. And so he's like, okay, cool. So he finally, for the first time ever, actually plays the game.
But no, before that though, he sort of, remember the one guy he brought it to him before that guy came in there.
Kabir.
There was a person who worked at the company who was like, hey, there's a couple of players, like, we keep getting these complaints that there are these unnamed people in here, like, robbing people for their credits.
And he didn't care until he realized, he's like, wait, they're not paying a subscription?
He was like, it's only 2. Why are you bringing this to me? But then he was like, yo, if it's 2, like, it could be 1 million.
More,
like, that's a big problem. That's like a giant glitch.
It should be impossible.
You shouldn't be able to do this. That's why this is alarming. And he poo-pooed it until he had that meeting with the New York Times people. So that's when Nanette pops in, like, I got you. Yeah.
Well, actually, he stopped poo-pooing it when he realized they weren't paying. He was like, after that, he was like, oh, hell no, they need the freeloaders. Heck no.
Yes.
So, yes. They go in the game, encounter their digital doubles, and end up, but Walton's like, I gotta shut this down. Like, he ends up killing one of the digital clones of the thing, and they're like, what is wrong with you? So they kick him out of the game. He doesn't know how to get back in. That's why he ends up calling Kabir, because Kabir quit.
Right, that's right. He did quit. He was like, this is terrible.
With a Post-it note, like Burger from Sex and the City.
I'm out.
He didn't even write the whole thing. He was just like, I quit. and bounced. So he calls him middle of the night. He's like, hey, Kabir, I need your help. I'll give you extra $5,000 a month. Just help me out here. So he tells him how to get back in the game. Because turns out he's hiding a secret. So it turns out the secret to infinity and basically how they're able to have an infinite amount of planets and stuff is because back in the day, he made a digital clone of Robert Daly. Who's dead in real life, but a real life digital clone of him exists inside the game. And he's the one who keeps making it. And so they're like, hey, if we can get a hold of him, we can extract ourselves from the main game. These are the digital clones. We can extract ourselves from the main game where we have to constantly keep getting credits and stuff. And then we can go into this kind of pocket universe where we can just exist there and stuff like that. So, but Walton, he's not trying to hear all that. He's like, no, I just need to eliminate these clones because this is illegal technology.
Right.
Like,
they're not even supposed to do.
Yeah, these aren't even supposed to exist. So when Nanette gets wind of it or whatever, she takes the computer. She's trying to run with it or whatever. She gets hit by a car and is put in a coma. And so Walton's like, perfect. I'm the only one who knows what's going on. Boom. So he goes back in the game, does a little espionage to set the digital clones up. They figure out what's going on. Nanette is able to get to what's known as the Heart of Infinity, which is Robert Daly's clone, and she explains what's going on. She's like, so will you help us? He's like, yeah, actually, I will help you. I'm a nice guy. And so he's like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy and paste y'all and, send y'all into this little pocket universe where y'all can be safe. And I can actually make, since you're brain dead in the real world, I can put your consciousness back in your body. She's like, that would be great. And he was like, yeah, but a copy of you is gonna have to stay here with me. And she's like, that would not be so great. So she ends up having to kill him to keep that from happening. And I loved it because she's like a clean line bathleth.
But like, so to me, like, explain, I feel like it's important to explain why that was because he was like, I can copy and paste you. And she was like, no, cut and paste me though. You know what I mean? Like, don't copy and paste me. Like, I need, like, why are you trying to leave me here with you in like the she was trying to explain to you, right?
But he's like, no, I'll be nice to you. She's like, no, you won't. And it doesn't even matter if you were nice to me. I just don't want to.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want a
because
version
my
of myself
digital
stuck here with
consciousness,
you.
like, my consciousness belongs to me. You don't get to make that decision for me.
That part.
So but that is also why the digital clones were illegal, because there's basically no. I love how he said it came from the porn industry.
Oh, that was so gross. Like, so you could just have
you could get somebody's hair.
Yeah, and just make.
I love the idea of somebody trying to do that to me, and they take my hair, but it's actually weave, and then so that you just get.
It's just like a chemical compound. It's like
you just get some Indonesian woman instead. It's like, there you go.
Or just some chemical compounds, because at this point,
it's
like
not
who
even
knows?
real.
Yeah,
But
we don't know.
So that'd be so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway. So so she ends up having to kill him with what looked like a Klingon batholith. I love how they did all these Star Trek parallels. That was really fun for me. And so, but because his death triggered a kill switch in the game.
Right.
And so, but she was able to still upload, she used one of his little discs or whatever.
He did that little mind trick thing. So he was asking her,
doing a red pill kind of thing.
Yeah, he was like, so I can either send you back to yourself and you'll have a recollection of all this, and you just save yourself, and then all of the people on your bridge who are your comrades, they die, or you could just save everybody, and then you're just gonna be brain dead in the real world. And she was like, no, save my friends. And then he was like, actually, you can do both. I just wanted to role play.
I
was like, oh my God, dorks.
And that's where she knew. Well,
I'm sick of it.
It's not just dorks; it's unethical dorks. You don't play.
Dorks.
That's the whole problem. Because I like the fact that Charlie Brooker brought up. He was like, I hope people realize, like, I'm not trying to come down on Trekkies, because I am one myself. He's like, but it's just sort of a version of sort of a toxic fanboy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Where you really think you Captain Kirk, you are not.
You're not though.
So
and it's
there you go. So yes, she so she's able to upload her consciousness back into her body, but she took everybody with her. Like, so basically they're just all in her head now, and they just love Housewives of Atlanta.
That's a terrible. I would hate that. I hated that for them.
That was kind of it's a happy ending for Black Mirror. Yeah. Because Black Mirror is just like, nah. It's like Twilight Zone.
It's like life, bitch.
Like
there's
life.
No actual.
There's no happy ending. It just the happy ending is it keeps on going.
Yeah. the best you can hope for is just you're not dead.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
To me, I liked it better than the original.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I love
so too,
I love a backstory. I like the fact that we learned that the reason why this game is so successful is because
this man's slaved consciousness is just in there constantly working.
Which is what is a capitalist dream.
Oh, yeah.
I have an employee I don't have to pay, that never has to sleep, that doesn't need time with its family.
That's fucked
like
up.
It is.
And that was the part. That's why I was like, it's important to say, because it was like the Elon Musk character in this to me is like, you don't have any idea what you're actually asking people to do. He was trying to explain, like, before all the shit went left, he was like, you want me to, he was like, I got like 7 planets. He's like, no, we need like hundreds. What we got to do to make that happen? He's like, well, he's trying to explain to him. It's like, I mean, this is just one little guy, and it's so unfair, because that is exactly what capitalism demands. It demands that you are removed from your own humanity in order to produce, and it's
severed in a way.
Yeah.
Have you been watching Severance?
Oh my God. No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, has your
really
algorithm?
Great.
I haven't been able to watch it, but my algorithm's kind of like Severance.
Like it. Yeah, I'm sure you will. Listen, we got so much to watch. It's so exciting.
Spoiled for choice.
But
yes, it's a commentary on capitalism.
It is definitely a commentary on capitalism, and I thought they did a really great job, because with technology advancing the way that it is, I do think it's important to keep in mind, like, the implications of it, or like, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, and they're fixated with making these, have you seen those robots that are like supposedly, they look dumb, but they have them where they're doing like LeBron's moves and shit like that?
No.
That shit looks crazy as hell. It doesn't look like LeBron, obviously, but it's like, why are we, like, the fixation on making computers more and more human-like and like doing human functions, and then trying to give them this AI consciousness, and what the implications of
they're
that
like,
looks like.
it's sex dolls. The implication is sex dolls. We're going to get into Westworld.
It all comes down to that. And honestly, that was an interesting sort of the fact that the first cloning of people's DNA had to do with like, let's just do this so people can just get off and it not like hurt actual people. But then it's like, at some point, is this why does it
because what was really
into
disturbing was the fact that Robert Daly was cloning his son.
Oh, that was crazy.
Because then all you have to do is just be like,
That's
okay,
crazy.
and then somebody can clone your child.
Right. Now what? How do we
Now
feel about
how do you
that?
feel
and
about
they can do
it?
whatever. That your kid could be a sex slave.
Oh, because he was using the clone to torture Waylon in the game, in his version of the game.
Right, he was.
Yeah, it was.
And so you kind of maybe you said this. I don't know if this was in the Patreon, but like how this taps into the manosphere in terms of, okay. So my understanding of like when I'm talking about the manosphere, I mean, there's this weird subtext. I don't think that the manosphere is actually really a commentary on actual masculinity or actual men. I feel like it's this sort of pseudo personification suit that you put on, like this suit that you put on that you're like, okay, this is what a man does, right? Like if you have power, if you have prestige, it's extremely performative, and real men don't actually have to do any of this shit, because if you're a masculine man, you just are. There's no need to put on this fake suit of like, oh, I have to be. Typically the person putting this suit on, in my mind, when we're talking about this, is a deeply insecure, rejected, like on the outskirts of what they feel like, masculinity, I'm doing the air quotes, is supposed to be. Yes, extremely. Or even like President Trump. Like you are masquerading as a real man.
I actually prefer to call him President Lump.
President Frump. However you want to say it. Okay.
Because Trump is too good. That's from Spades. Like, that's what you want.
I know.
So
right?
I have to give him a different.
Frump.
Yeah, President. I'm calling him Lump.
President.
Well, actually, his real family name was Drumpf. They changed it to Trump. Yeah.
Drumpf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. I learned that from John Oliver.
Okay, I love him.
Yeah.
But you're
right.
It's a caricature of what you think men should be. And I don't know why.
It involves shutting women up.
Right. It's shutting them the fuck up.
Maybe choking them out a little bit.
Right. Shut the fuck. Or it's some weird fantasy where you're emasculating another man who you feel like on some level emasculated you. So whether that's you cloning their child and using that against them in some weird virtual fucking cuck that you're trying to recreate in your mind because in real life you can't do it, or so I think that's an interesting aspect of this story, because I do think that it's not this overt thing that's happening. Like I feel like people think that it's like, toxic masculinity is this. It's like, no, like it's real subtle in a way, but I feel like it's a caricature of like what actual masculinity is. So the war isn't on masculine stuff. The war is on people who are co-opting it, just like people co-opt DEI or wokeness. And you ask them, well, what is being woke? And they're like, I don't really
being
know.
a pain in the ass.
Right.
Someone yelling at me about my pronouns.
Yes. Didn't earn it. Just hiring unqualified black people. That's not even the conversation, though. And I think that like stories like this are able to illustrate it, even though it's not nobody's directly saying that's what it is. That subtext, I think, is important because it helps illustrate a concept that we're seeing sort of play out in front of us. When you have men like this character who are extremely talented, but like maybe in your social life you're a little inept or you can't connect to women. And honestly, I feel like it really is born from a place of like men not being able to accept rejection or not being able to handle it and not being socialized to understand, like, at some point, just because you're in proximity to a woman, she's not going to always look at you romantically. That's not like necessarily an implication of you being a piece. Like, there's somebody out there for you. It's just not me. Why can't I just say, because that was the thing.
Why can't I just come to work?
The whole thing was Nanette really admired this man. She was like,
your work, ooh, your work, bueno.
Okay, everything. And then when he figured out that didn't equate to a romantic thing, or that that it was strictly professional, that's when you got fucking weird and took her DNA. I was like, let me toss this bitch in the game so I can erase her face you know what I'm saying, suck the air out of her lungs and make her, you know,
That was
it's like
so
that's some weird
disturbing.
shit. Yeah, it's just, that's the weird shit.
And the fact that he's like, I'm a nice guy.
Are you though?
He kept, his digital clone was like, you should just stay here with me. I'm a nice guy. I'll be nice to you. She's like, no, you won't.
No, you won't. 'Cause
And
I've
then
seen
men
it.
get, I've just experienced this in real life. Men get very offended if you suggest that, like, I don't necessarily feel safe around you. And then,
And then you really don't feel safe when they start to express, well, why don't you feel safe?
right, it's like, why, bitch? It's like, well,
This a little, this right here.
It's like, well, it's all my life experience pretty much, you know, and it's hard because I feel like we have to say this every time we talk about these issues. We love men. You married one, I married two.
Okay.
Like,
Low key, you sure did.
it's like, yeah, we have sons in between. Like
I've got brothers, uncles, father-in-laws.
granddaddies, all that. Like the men that have been in my life have been amazing for the most part. There's been some who have not been that great. So like in my experience, it is worthwhile to, you know, have a little room between myself and most men so that I can, and
Live
my
and
children
breathe?
can stay, live and breathe. Live and breathe. Because have you noticed there seems to be, like, when you hear these stories of abuse, there's so much choking out. Like, can somebody explain to us, like, why that's the go-to? I understand there's a certain sexual aspect to it, like you can do, like, autoerotic asphyxiation. But it's like outside of that context, it just feels abusive.
I would venture to say it just is.
It just solidly is.
Yeah, it just is.
So, but I'm like, it must feel amazing though, because they keep doing it.
I mean, honestly, this is really sick. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
It's Easter Sunday and here I am.
Well, by the time this come out, this is gonna be Wednesday.
It's true. So on a Wednesday,
Easter's
it's crazy
over. I hope
that
y'all
I'm
have fun.
Right. I can almost.
Oh wait.
Yeah, like I could see how choking somebody out would be like extremely satisfying.
Cathartic?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also because I know that like after that happens, they're actually dead. It's like, well, then that's not an
dead,
option.
but bruised. Remember Maddie from Euphoria? You don't
I
have
was
to kill
taking
him.
it all the way to death. I'm sorry. That was,
You always finish the job.
Yeah. I
You're
was just like, if I'm gonna
like
do
leaving
it,
work undone.
No, it's like
no, we
bring
gonna
you
do
back so you can complain about
I
it.
would just think about how awkward the relationship would be afterwards, but it's like, because I know that you can get to this level.
Well, and there's this point of like you did this thing, and then there's like this petting that happens afterwards.
Sure.
And that's the part that gets addictive because then the person is like, okay, they didn't mean it. You're making it, and look at how attentive they're being.
Like, and I was being kind of a bitch.
And
you
also,
know.
it's what it is. I think people get addicted to in those kind of scenarios, which is the toxicity of those relationships, is the high, like the up and down part of it. So it feels extremely terrible when you realize, oh, this person who I love is like choking me out, and it's deeply distressing. And you're feeling like that's a deep feeling, like you're feeling that emotion extremely deeply. And then like right after that, the contrast of like the care that they might be showing to you is like an instant. I would imagine what it feels like to snort a line of coke.
High, yeah. It's just, like I said, those endorphins, those highs, those lows.
Yes, and I think that's the addiction of like just people, because I will venture to say that like a normal relationship or something that's not toxic in that sort of way where you're swinging like that is probably pretty boring.
Well, not boring.
Boring.
Well, maybe
in terms of like those highs and lows, because
if you're
not
used to the cortisol rush.
If you're used to,
or the
somebody,
adrenaline and stuff like that, it can start to feel. It's like, well, maybe
he doesn't really love me if he's not pushing me down,
right?
You know
and it's just like,
and then helping me up.
No,
girl, nah. Like that's not what we are out here doing.
No, that's no way to live a life.
And so that's a problem too, because I do feel like, you know, there are women who, you know, like because of their, I don't know how they're socialized or their particular experiences, they feel like that's what it is. Like if he's not, you know, stalking me on the side, is he interested? If he's not, you know, micromanaging my whereabouts, does he actually care? You know, if he's not dotting my eyes and then putting my makeup on.
Because I was like,
What you got to say?
I'll probably take this part
Okay,
out.
we'll say it, friend. It's okay.
But I think a lot of times we've been groomed. Hate to say this on Easter Sunday by the church.
It's Wednesday though now. Remember?
Well, Wednesday Bible study. So the character of God, at least in the Old Testament, is very much like that. It's a very punitive relationship where if you're not doing this, I'm going to punish you.
It's very smitey.
It's very smitey. It's very like, I don't care if you die, if you don't
Daddy's
do this.
giving you a whoop.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, but I love you so much when you're burning those cattle. Like when you're giving that cattle to the Levites, I love you so much. Daddy loves you. And then and then when you start whoring around with those other gods, then I'm like, smite, 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 smite. And then there's just and weirdly enough though, he didn't talk about hell. He's just like, no, I'm gonna smite you right here and now.
Here, yeah, today.
And then later on, it turns into it's like that you deserve hell because you didn't do the stuff I wanted you to.
Right.
So it's a to me, and once again, because obviously this isn't the only religion in the world, but it's interesting to me that what we're taught is, at least what I was taught, was that you're supposed to want a husband that treats his wife the way God treats the church.
Oof.
That's what I was taught growing up. So it's kind of interesting that kind of have to deconstruct that because it warps your expectations of what masculinity is supposed to be, because God's a man. It's how God acts.
Yeah, he is.
And so, and then, there's, God is like, man, my God can beat up your God. And da-da-da. It's that kind of, yeah.
That is, you know what? I think that's an interesting, I don't think that you're taught to even perceive the stories like that. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, you're not really supposed to look at those stories critically. You're just supposed to be like, yes, of course. This is
I'm a piece
the
of
order
shit.
Things. Hello. And what's crazy is that like I internalized that instantly. Like I didn't really have a lot of critical thinking around that as a young person. I was like,
me neither.
clearly
I
I'm
was
a
like,
piece of
here's
shit.
the worst.
Look at what he did for us.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And then look at me, a sinner.
Can't even
just love sin.
Give up butterscotch for 30 damn days consecutively. Here I'm crunching in the corner. He knows. And I know.
And then don't introduce sexuality into it and call that sin.
Yeah.
Because it's like every time I'm having a sexual thought, it's like I'm sinning.
And he sees me.
Right?
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Yeah. It's definitely
it's a
complex.
mind-effer.
It is. It's definitely complex, but I think that that's worth exploring. I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. Like, I don't know if our listeners have that same experience. I'd be interested to know, because it's not, like everybody has to process their reality and the things that they are learned and passed on to them to make sense of this world. Like, I get how we have to have those things, but at the same time though, like, just like anything, like I gotta be able to critically think about the things that I'm taking in, whether they're, notions that I came up with on my own, or if there are things that are getting passed down, if it's tradition, whatever. You just want to be able to at least tradition. You want to feel like you can have the conversation.
I feel like sometimes that's a little bit what's left out of the manosphere conversation, as the fact that this is sort of the big butch daddy that is given as the ultimate example of love.
And this is what we want though, and this is why like you have, that kind of swing of people asking, like, having, who was this? I don't know. It was somebody who was a public servant. I don't know who they were. Or maybe, I don't even know. Maybe they weren't. But it was just this person who we would consider white male asking women to step aside. And he was like, this is a good time for women to maybe just like step aside and let men take over type shit. And I'm like, so
counterpoint.
What? Like, that's a little bit like what? Okay, so what movement on earth has ever gone anywhere without the help of women? Like, women are deeply involved in every part of every facet. In any society that you see where that's suppressed, you don't really see a thriving society. So I think it's condescending and a little bit narrow-minded or short-sighted to even feel like you can get on a national stage or any kind of stage to say that and ask that of women. So you're asking 50%
your mom,
of
the population.
Yeah, half of them.
Yeah. It's like, why don't you guys just
simmer
get
down and
back
hush.
into the kitchen, make yourselves pretty,
and just hush.
Just be a helpful decoration.
Right.
And
if that's what you want to be, great. But also too, like, you don't get to
make that decision for
for
every
other
woman.
people. Yeah, that's
and
the whole
girls.
problem. But it's just, so I do feel like that's the quiet conversation happening, and that the manosphere and that toxic sort of masculinity, air quotes, if you will, that we're speaking about isn't like an assault on actual masculinity. I think it's more so
really,
just a pseudo masculinity.
It is an attack, but
Yeah.
it's an attack on the idea that women aren't people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm always going to attack that idea. And I feel like that is when we say the word manosphere, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
This
let's be clear.
is these, ideas that women are somehow not fully people the way men
accessories in your life
Yeah,
to, be
like-
pacifiers for your feeling, to be the, just
your soothing element.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's like, and trust me, I do want to be that,
Right.
just not for every man.
and or for every fucking scenario, because that's not what every scenario calls for. Like, it's not a one note song.
That's true.
know?
Oh, it's a medley.
It's a medley. I'm gonna hit
It's
high notes, low notes, and then some harmonies in that thing. And I want the space to be able to do that.
It's not just gonna be
Yeah, no, it's not It's not. Yeah, like I'm not a Buddhist
not
chant.
not all the time.
Not all the time. I can be sometimes, but yeah. So, I liked that little kind of subtle critique of that, and that sort of, being able to have that conversation. But
It was a way to play it out in a fun way.
I think so.
Without us just like talking about it, you can just kind of see it and just see her apprehension, where it's just kind of like, Robert, what are you doing? And then he immediately
shoulder it. It was
It
like,
didn't
this is
even
what the fuck I'm talking about.
It didn't even take 10 minutes. Here you go.
Yep. Now I gotta murk you. Sorry.
I love how she didn't even hesitate.
Sorry.
She
Like Gilly.
because once again, this wasn't the meek Nanette. This is the Nanette who's been out here scrapping
Thank
and
you.
surviving.
Yes,
She
good
was
times.
like, let me just
no.
right now, because it is right. I'm not food.
And that's what was nice to see too, because in her real life, not to say that she was not strong,
No, she
but
pointed
it required her to be
Assertive,
everything she needed to be.
competent. She's
Yes,
like, I'm so
'cause you're the
competent.
captain.
And she also, even when she met her digital self, when digital Nanette met her real life self in the game, and she was like, stop saying I'm sorry. I used to do that all the time.
Yeah,
and
stop.
when I went back, 'cause I went back and rewatched it, and you do see her constantly apologizing. And I get on women about, a lot of people about that too. It's like, you do not have to you don't have to apologize for just being here. It's like, if you mess up, yes, by all means, apologize. But not everything has to be like, oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. Sorry. It's like, no, you're allowed to be here and take up space. Like, you're a person. You're a voice in this world.
Yeah.
And you deserve to be heard.
Amen. I like that.
I got that from Different World.
Okay. Did Whitley say that?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi, of course.
It was the one with, was it Tisha Campbell when she had HIV? Do you remember that?
Damn.
Plotline?
No, not really.
Oh, yeah. She did a little story arc on her where she was, HIV positive and everybody was treating her weird. And Whoopi Goldberg was a professor. And she was like, you tell your story. You're a voice in this work. She was always mumbling. And it was like, because they had to write their own eulogies. And so she wrote her own eulogy and she was like, yeah, I pretty much know how I'm about to die. Because this was the 90s, you know what I mean?
Tear in my eye. I can already
it was
feel
it was
It
good.
powerful.
Listen, I should have given Dedication a Different World.
Man,
Still
we
classic.
probably need to do a little review on them one time.
Skip season 1.
Yeah, you did say that. Maybe on Patreon. Maybe we can watch a couple episodes. That'd be
It's
fun.
so good.
Maybe one afternoon.
Oh,
we can just pop up
Debbie
on
Allen, thank you.
Yeah, she's a national treasure.
What do we say? Thank you, Debbie Allen.
Yes. Aw, Debs.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a break real
Okay.
quick, friend. We're going to take a break, you guys. We'll be right back. All right, you guys, welcome back from the break. Yeah, friend.
Oh, let me see if I always forget to check my notes.
Do you?
I do
Okay,
that
check
so
your notes,
often.
friend. Is there anything that we didn't touch on in terms of this episode or just Black Mirror in general?
Let's see.
Please enlighten us, okay? We want
No.
to. Okay. Okay.
No. I pretty much, these were like notes from other episodes. Only thing I really kind of added was we didn't really, we don't like to get to politics here on the Fake Ass Book Club, but, there was a whole thing with like our president and tariffs and him trying to like get into it with China, which is gonna drive up the prices of some things. Because even now, they're not even taking pre-orders for the Switch.
I heard.
You know, I mean, I know that's Japan, but still, it's like, you know, stop playing games. Like, you trying to act all big and bad. It's like, no, play your part. And like, maybe I feel like my favorite pastor, Josh Johnson, the comedian, he kind of laid it out because he's basically saying like econ. You remember taking econ in high school?
Barely. I did it in summer school along with government, so that I only had to do packets. So I didn't learn that much.
Like usually that's the move. So everybody, you should know, do econ over the summer. So you just have to do that because it's mostly math, right?
I don't know.
It was because you're doing these little graphs. Econ, it's money, it's math. And Josh brought up the point, maybe you don't get into a math contest with China. Just maybe.
Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
Big love
Points
to China.
Made. Yeah.
Big love to China. I mean, that's a 5,000-year-old civilization. Be respectful.
Wow. On that note, you guys, I think we should rate this episode, friend. I'm going to let you go first so I can think of what my rating is.
I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Vulcan salutes. May you live long and prosper. Because, this to me, it hit everything for me. It hit all the notes, pacing, costume, acting, story. I was locked in.
Okay. All right. And then if I had to rate this episode, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5. I don't know why I'm not giving it 5. It was very entertaining.
Because you don't love Star Trek, and that's fine.
Maybe that's it. But it was good. I really thought it was a good story. It was compelling. It was entertaining. Lots of points were made. And I'm giving it 4 out of 5 floppy disks. Because it was really fun to see the old tech. You know what I'm saying? We're from the 1900s, so it was kind of a throwback. I enjoyed that. So, yeah, definitely, I would recommend it. I mean, if you guys aren't into Black Mirror, again, there's 7 seasons, so there's so much content there. Would highly recommend popping in and checking out. I mean, what's nice is that you don't have to see one episode for it to go with the next. Each one is its own singular universe.
I started with season 4.
Yeah, and it was
and it made me go back. It's funny because I feel like if I had watched season 1, episode 1, I wouldn't have stuck with it.
I would not have either. And I remember, and I'm glad somebody told me that because I was like, what in the actual hell is this show? Because ill.
Oh, and we didn't mention it, but the actress who played Nanette, that's Sophia Gigante.
I remember from Penguin.
I love
She's a good
her.
actress.
She needs to be in more. She needs to be in everything.
Oh my God, those eyeballs, man. She's got these big, beautiful eyes too.
She's
so good.
So good.
She's a good actress.
Amazing actress. So
definitely.
Giving it up for her. All right.
Good times, guys. So definitely enjoyed that. And so I guess now there's nothing else to do but to spin the wheel, guys. So spin it. Okay.
Is it a book, Moni?
It's a book, friend. Okay, we're back on track, you guys. At the Fake Ass Book Club this week, or next week coming up, we're going to be reviewing a book called The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. So I'm extremely excited to get into it, you guys. This is going to be a really great read. So you have to tune in next week to see what it's all about. Hopefully you guys will come back and join us. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your weekend or your day, whenever you're listening to this, with your family and tapping in and doing the things you love. Just like I said last week, you guys, y'all gotta tap into the things that make you feel good, that create laughter and joy, because life is short. And, every day is a gift. So tap in with the things and the people you love. What about you, friend? Anything you want to leave the people with before we slide about this thing?
Every day is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Yeah, your body belongs to you. Happy Easter or Wednesday.
Right. Happy whatever it is to you right now.
Yeah. Whatever feeds you. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We like you.
We like you. Hopefully you like us too. And we'll be back next week, you guys. So peace. Bye.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another Fake Ass Book Club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com,
Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.